Much out to the family, much out to the tribe. Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Templar Up. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope everyone out there is blessed. Thank you for surfing the wave with me, because I'm surfing the wave with you. Today we're going to pick up where we last left off and continuing our flow in dealing with Daniel's mantle. But today we're going to speak upon Daniel's mantle being a function. Real quickly, before we begin, I want to send a shout out to the tribe for Joy World. They're out there building a fence for Joy World. Plans to get it painted, get the droplets involved. And it's really a blessing to see the growth over the last couple of years. Especially this last year. But you know, this is a new spring, this is a new year, and we need to keep the fires burning and the waters flowing. And the main reason being here is because we try to stay in a proper flow. There's a lot of people that are going to gravitate towards the wave, you know. They just might be, for the first time tuning in. They may be surfing the wave for quite some time. But the experience is always an edifying one. And that's a blessing, because it allows for us to enter conversations that is different. It allows for a dragonfly perspective. So, in any case, before we really pop things off, what I think I want to do here is take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward and understand, what a mantle actually is. Now, over the course of the wave and how we've been surfing, things have been concentrating and consolidating. And a lot of this information, what we learned is that it wasn't that long ago. And that's playing a huge factor. A lot of people who we think are different people are actually the same person. And we're going to dig on it. So first, let's step here, because I kind of want to put this first in your mind bone. Because we're always talking about the 12 lost tribes, right? Now, this is will be a really nice place to belly flop if you are digging on the backspin by Brother Yosef with the Caesar Messiah, and as well as that ether bus, for sure. But in any case, what we're talking about here is the 12 tribes. Now, you have the 12 sons of Israel, right? And then you have Reuben losing his rights, right, as firstborn. So he's removed from the list. And then Joseph also disappears, correct? And then Ephraim and Manasseh is increased. But then when you get to that Revelation, you notice that Reuben has reappeared. And it is now Dan who is missing. Ephraim also no longer exists. So what's a mantle? A mantle is a noun. Old English, right? Mental. You know, over the course of surfing a wave, you know, we always tell you to protect your mind bone. You know, thought running around in strange circles and angles, you know, being chased by the hounds of the barrier who only move in angles, you know. It's just also the same with what you get with metal. Are we talking METAL or are we talking METTLE? You know, we're at the point now where we need to start distinguishing the difference between the word magic as far as the logos, and then the word, how it's written, the philo, and then the word magic as far as the sound and what's being carried on that wave. Now, what's a mental or a mantle, right? Because vowels don't count. It is a loose, sleeveless garment worn as an outer covering, falling in straight lines from the shoulders. From Latin, mantellum, meaning cloak. Source Italian, mantello. Old High German, mantel. German mantle. Old Norse, mutol. Perhaps from a Celtic source. Or, if the Latin word is the same word as mantellum or mantilium, a cloth, hand towel, or a napkin. Perhaps it is from manus, meaning hand. Okay? Now, for reference, to take from, popular media, you can take Batman and Superman, for example. Superman doesn't wear a cape. Superman wears a mantle. Okay, it drapes off the back of his neck, and on his cape is the seal or the symbol of his house. Batman has a cape and a cowl. Okay, the cowl is like a mask that covers, which is different than a mantle. Okay, now reinforced and altered in 12th century, so we're talking about the 1100s, by the cognate Old French mantle, meaning cloak, mantle, bedspread, cover, right? Modern French manteau. Also from Latin sources, figurative sense, that which enshrouds, something that conceals, right? A covering is from circa 1300. So we're talking about the 1200s. We're talking about being, what's beyond the veil, right? Elusive use for symbol of literary authority or artistic preeminence by 1789, is from Elijah's mantle, right? 2 Kings, 2nd chapter, 13th verse, as a layer of earth between the crust. Originally, have the mantle and the ring was symbolic act done before a bishop by a widow, indicating a vow of chastity, circa 1400s, right? When we talk about that core of the earth, notice that it was not originally distinguished from the core, the mantle, okay? Let's get the verb, the action. Early 1300s, 13th century, excuse me. So we're talking about 1200s. Mantling, to wrap or cover in a mantle, right? Mantle. Figurative sense, to obscure or protect by covering up. Now, this is very important because we're talking about Daniel. Daniel sealed the books. He made things obscure. He was protecting something. Remember the breakdown of Caesar Messiah and the satire. Notice all the changes. But we're talking about willingly covering up willingly, and you get that also with what they tell you when it comes down to the Mayan history. Okay, now what we're talking about, that is from what, mid 15th century. What was going on in the mid 15th century? We're talking about that Doom Diverses, right? In transitive sense, to become covered with a coating of liquids is from 1620s. That of become suffused as with blushes or color is by 1707. Okay? Mantle. So notice the order and the time in which these words are being presented. All right? So we're talking about a mantle. Now, when we last popped off, you notice that Daniel, it's a proper name. Hebrew, literally, God is my judge. Right? Related to Dan, literally, he who judges. The name given to the tribe descended from Jacob's son of that name in the Old Testament, consistently in the top 15 name for boys born in the U.S. from 1972 through 2008. Okay. Okay. So let's dig on it. Dan, right? Dan is a title, right? Because names are titles. Titles are names. You know, this is why we ask, who is the prester? David is not only a name, it's a title. Right? Dan is also a title of address to members of religious orders. So to be a Dan is to be of a religious member of a religious order, right? Circa 1300s, right? So you're talking about the 1200s. I mean, give or take. From French, Old French Dan, modern French dom, right? From Latin dominus, meaning what? Lord, right? Meaning Lord. Source also of Portuguese don, Spanish don, Italian dono, and from, let's see, domus, meaning what? House. From the Pi root of dem, star dem, meaning house or household. Wait a minute, I gotta pull this up. Get it bigger, right? So we're talking about the gom, right? Talking Picto-Paleo. Let's go back. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna dig on the root here, on the pie. Let's keep going. Now, name of one of the 12 tribes of ancient Israel, or its territory. Name for its founder. Literally, he who judges. Related to Hebrew, din, meaning to judge. In the Old Testament, it occupies the northernmost part of Israel. Hence, it's used proverbially for uttermost extremity, as in from Dan to Beersheba, to the southernmost region. When? 1738. Now, North America doesn't exist, but the utmost extremity, right? We're talking about Canada. We're talking about the Arctic Circle. We're talking about Alaska. And when we dug on the old maps, right, that seems to be the location that's shown for Tengu. And we dug on the Olmec, and that also leads in that same location. There's a reason why the international border between Canada and the United States of America is on that parallel. Let's just put it that way, right? But we're talking about Dan. Now, when you look at the pi, right, means house or household, right? Forms all over part of Anno Domini. This is where you get the AD for your years, right? It's where you get belladonna, condominium, dame, damsel, don, title of address to members of a religious order. This is where you get danger, dangerous, despot, right? Domain, dome, domestic, domicile, dominate, donna, dungeon, ma'am, yes ma'am. So also you get madam, right? or else you get what? Madonna. Right? It's a title of respect, even by the Spanish, Italian, and the Portuguese. Is hypothetical source evidence of its existence provided by the Sanskrit Dhamma, meaning house, right? The Greek domos, meaning house, master or lord, right? Master of the household, right? We talk about head of household. And we've dug on and talked about head of households before when digging on our Noah Job flow. And again, we're talking about function. So, when you're talking about Daniel and you slow it down, you're talking about the L or Lord, and then you have Don of Lords. So Daniel is a name meaning Lord of Lords, right? God is my judge. But remember, Daniel is also who? Chileab. Now remember, Chileab means Daniel, and check out, pay attention. Chileab, or Daniel, is the son of King David and Abigail. But Chileab, which means Daniel, is also the father of Daniel, as well as being the brother of Chileab, Daniel. But to say Chileab is to say Daniel. So you have a Daniel, you have a Chileab, then you have Chileab Jr., but then you also got the brother Chileab, right? Right. Because this is a mantle, it's a title. And this isn't the only weird place that this plays. Because as we've done our homework, we realize that your Nehemiah is also Edris, but it's also based upon the recon. Nehemiah is also Daniel. And for quite some time, we've been doing recon and trying to figure out, well, who is this King of Kings, Lord of Lords? Is Daniel. Who is he in the history books? Because remember, Daniel is a myth. His father, King David, and his mother, Abigail, they treat more realistic, as more real than the child that they produce. But let's make sure that we understand what we're talking about when we're talking about Adan El. Why would Chileab have that title? Because we're talking about King David. King David the builder. One of his titles is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Quite literally, Lord of Lord is Dan-el. And when does this pop off? The year of David's birth can be calculated from the date of his ascension to the throne recorded in the life of King David, written Sirsa 11:23 through 11:26. When did the letter of Prester John go out? The letter of President John went out in 1122. Let's go back. So we're talking about Chileab.